Welcome back to Ganadoras. Our next guest is a singer-songwriter. Now, you might have seen her on Tengo Talento, Mucho Talento, or singing the national anthem at Dodger Stadium. With every performance, she's seemingly establishing herself in the world of music, proving her artistry is here to stay. Let's give a warm welcome to a good friend of mine, Nia Padilla.
Hi, Sophie. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Oh,
well,
my goodness.
I've been talking about you all week long. Now, we met in Mexico. We're both from Los Altos de Jalisco.
Yes.
But you're also born and raised in LA. And you performed for the Dodgers, the national anthem, Shohei Ohtani's 50-50 game. Talk to me about the excitement that comes with that, because it's one thing to perform in school, because we both went to CSUN. I know you sang there too. But talk to me the difference between school, stadium.
Oof. Well, the crazy thing is that school teaches you these skills to prep you for performances and opportunities such as, you know, singing at the Dodger Stadium. But at the same time, nothing really preps you until you're in that moment and you feel it all. So as you know, like when I was at CSUN, I was always performing. So
I remember.
Yeah, I was like right under Sierra Tower with my a cappella group, you know, and so you kind of get used to this pressure, this performance anxiety, as they call it, and so you kind of use this pressure and anxiety and just be like, you know what, pressure makes diamonds, and that's what I've always kept with me. And I'm like, okay, if I feel this anxiety, I feel this pressure, that means I care. That means this is something important. So you already know the morning of the game, after Ohtani hit the 50-50, I already knew that game was going to be electric. And I had a conversation with my mom. I literally called her and I was like, Mom, and I was like, and estaba llorando. I was crying and crying because more than anything, I was nervous, but I was so happy, and I was just so grateful for the opportunity to represent, and to also not just me, myself, but like my entire family and my
They were all there.
They were all there.
I was literally sick. I had tickets to go to that game, and when I saw, I was like, oh my gosh, I am missing this.
Yeah.
Now, I know you talked about, you know, performing at the stadium, but you also were on a show, and that is a huge audience, although you don't see that audience because you are in front of the camera. How was that? How did you get used to performing in front of the camera, knowing that there's millions of people watching on the other side?
Yeah, so, you know, and I can take it back to the beginning. Like when I first auditioned, even for anything, like I didn't know I was gonna get that far. All I knew is I loved what I was doing, and I was doing it for a purpose, and I was setting an example for myself and for others who are following my footsteps to just like, hey, if you love something, if you have a passion, you gotta follow it, you know? If you keep getting this call, you gotta answer. And so everything else just kind of, it just bled into what I did every day, and I didn't stop. And because I didn't stop, you know, and everybody knows, as a singer-songwriter living in LA, you're gonna get no's a lot, but you're not there for the no's, you're there for the yeses. And so,
yeah, like you said, all those no's, living in LA especially, because everyone comes here to try to make a name for themselves. What is something that kept you going? What gave you confidence? Is it something that your mom told you, something that you discovered about yourself, that you're like, you know what, I can do this, and I'm gonna do this?
Yeah, I think, and I have this conversation a lot with other, you know, singer-songwriters who come here, and I always tell them the same thing: you gotta know your why. Like, why are you doing this? And when your why becomes so strong and so solidified that nothing can knock you down, because, you know, you could have a show and nobody show up, it's okay. You still did what you were meant here to do. When you live with purpose, then that itself just becomes your confidence, right? And it's like, you have to create that mental barrier for all the no's, all the negativity that's gonna come at you, but you're not there for it. You're like, you know what, I'm living for the yeses, I'm living for the positive experiences, because, you know, in this life, it's gonna be up and down, you know, it's gonna be a roller coaster, but you gotta be prepared for the ride. And I always say this too, it's like, especially with this music career, it's not a race, it's a marathon, and you just gotta keep going until, right, you just gotta keep going. And when you keep going, that's when things present itself, because people see that. They're like, okay, she's not just doing it for the fame. She's not doing it for the money. She's doing it because this is her purpose. This is what she was born and meant to do. And that itself just becomes part of your authenticity and part of your artistry. Yeah.
And, you know, first generation Latina in LA, singer-songwriter, what has been a challenge that has come up on this journey of yours, and how did you overcome it?
Oof. I think just that there's no guide, you know. I think a lot of people who are in music too, they're always like, oh, like my parents are musicians, or, you know, they taught me how to do this, they taught me how to do that, and they had guidance telling them like what they needed to do in order to succeed. But as first generation, you know, citizens in that piece too, like, you already know we kind of have to make our own rules, and we break them too, and we figure it out as we go, and that's what makes us so resilient, because we know that we come from, you know, from roots that they came here for a better life, and you know, they struggled and sacrificed, and all I got to do is live out my dreams. Like that's their dream, is for me to have these opportunities. And that's what I'm doing. And every day when I'm performing, I'm reminded, I was like, wow, like I am literally American dream. And more importantly, when I was singing at the Dodger Stadium, singing the national anthem, which is about freedom and about bravery, it was literally, it's just a moment that I was like, I'm doing this for my family. I'm doing this for my grandma, who came here with nothing and made something out of themselves. And so I honor that, and I honor their story too.
Oh, well, I've loved seeing your journey from the start to now, and I know that you're just going to keep on going. Now, for those who are watching and also want to continue following you on your journey, when can they find you? Where can they find you on social media?
They can find me on the socials at Nia Padilla Music, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, and I also put on events. And so if you come, if you check out my music, you'll most likely look at the next events that I'm putting on, also to highlight local Latino talent. And so, yeah, I look forward to those experiences and to continue to uplift my community.